our session on outcome based education. I would like to start this session with our JD sir's words. Normally he says, ನಾವು ಬೀಜ ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ ಆದರೆ ಬೆಲೆ ಬರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. That is, we sow the seeds but we are not getting anything in return. So we sow the seeds, we are getting either the same type of seeds back or else we are getting deteriorated seeds back. That is what is deteriorated as well as destroyed. So that is the reason we are focusing on this particular topic, and that is outcome based education. Now ನಮ್ಗೆ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ದ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಆದರೆ ಔಟ್ಕಮ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದ ಮೇನ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ವರ್ಕ್ಶಾಪ್. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್. ಈ ಸೆಷನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗೋ ಮಟ್ಟ ಮೈ ಒಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ that all the participants should be able to know about the accreditation agencies. What do you mean by graduate attributes? What do you mean by program outcomes, course outcomes, how to map program outcome and course outcome, mapping of assessment with course outcomes, then calculation of course outcome attainment and calculation of program outcome attainment. Okay, so this is my intention. So to start with, in the early 1990s, William G. Spady propounded outcome based education as a means to ensure quality in American school system. This was the main purpose of outcome based education. So what he did was, OBE focuses means focusing and organizing an institute's entire program. So now in BA, BCom, BSc teach ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So on what we should focus? Entire program on clearly defined outcomes. We want all students to demonstrate when they leave the institute. So this is what William Spady says. So in our college, we get a student, he takes admission in BA first year, first semester, and then for 3 years he is there with us till BA 3, and then he becomes a graduate. Now the question is, after 3 years the student is same, or can we see some change in him? That is what the focus of outcome based education is. He should have certain important attributes, but what is missing is, we are getting the output in terms of marks, but are there any qualitative changes in the student that we can observe or the students can demonstrate? That is what is outcome based education's main purpose is. So all of you all know about it, but I wanted a stepping stone. I wanted to start it from somewhere. So I started with what is Washington Accord. As you all know, Washington Accord is an international accreditation agreement. We are having agreements with foreign countries at international level in various aspects. It is with regard to, it may be with regard to international relations. We are having so many bilateral agreements, multilateral agreements. With regard to peace, we are having so many agreements. With regard to war, we are having so many agreements. We are having World Trade Organization. So in the same way, with regard to education, we are having an agreement, and that agreement is called as Washington Accord. And what it does is, it is an agreement related to undergraduate professional engineering degrees. So here it is with regard to technical degrees between the bodies responsible for accreditation in its signatory countries. And it was established in 1989, and India is a full signatory. As of today, India is a full signatory and is a part of Washington Accord. So NBA, National Board of Accreditation, as per Washington Accord agreement, NBA has been accorded permanent signatory status of Washington Accord. Now the thing is, what is NBA? So we can say NBA is a full member of Washington Accord. Now from where this NBA has come? So NBA was established by AICTE, All India Council for Technical Education, in 1994. So the NBA is one of the two major bodies responsible for accreditation of higher education institutions in India. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, one of the two major bodies. So one major body ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, it is NBA, it is there in the slide. Then which is the other one? Which is the other major body? And that is what we are going to deal today. So NBA accredits technical programs such as engineering and management. Then what about our general programs? Who accredits our general institutes which is giving the programs such as BA, BCom, BSc? So this we all are dealing with it, we all are dwelling in it, we all are drowned in it, and that is National Assessment and Accreditation Council, that is NAAC. So again NAAC has come to us. So the NAAC is a government organization. First thing, it's a government organization in India. It assesses and accredits higher educational institutions. It is an autonomous body funded by UGC, University Grants Commission. So here's it's a very important thing. NAAC was established in 1994. Why it was established? Because in 1986 there was National Education Policy, and as per the recommendations of the National Education Policy of 1986, it was to address the issues of deterioration in quality of education. So friends, in 1986 we were speaking that, we were telling that the quality of education is deteriorated. 1986, 1996, 2006, 2016, we have come to almost to another 2-3 years, 2026. So decades have passed and still we can see there is a downfall in the quality of education. It is not with regard to teaching learning process or quality of students, it is the overall systemic problem that is been faced. So in 1986 they had found it out, the quality of education is deteriorating, but what after that? That is what NAAC has come into the picture, and NAAC accredits general colleges and universities. And as you know, most of the colleges have completed peer team visit, and most of the colleges are awaiting peer team visits. So those colleges which have completed peer team visits, this particular session will be helpful for you all in the coming days. So just a glimpse or synopsis of higher education in India. You all know it, as I said, just stepping stone. Regulating organizations, we are having Department of Higher Education, that is Department of Collegiate Education. We are having University Grants Commission, and then we are having National Assessment and Accreditation Council. It's a government organization, autonomous body which accredits general institutions. So these are the three organizations that we are directly dealing with, or they are the ones under whose control we are there. Then we are having NBA. As you know, NBA is with regard to all the engineering colleges, and I told you NBA has been started because of All India Council of Technical Education, because it is as per the Washington Accord. Then there are professional councils. We are having All India Council for Technical Education, as UGC has NAAC, similarly AICT has NBA. Then we are having Bar Council of India, which leads with legal studies, dental with dentistry, distant education with all open education courses. Then we are having Medical Council of India, which deals with MBA. Similarly, we are having Ayush Council. We are having for BA colleges there is National Council for Teacher Education, and we are having state councils of higher education. In Karnataka it is Karnataka State Higher Education Council. So this is the brief structure, and our focus will be on NAAC very narrowly. Broadly it is with regard to education, and very broadly it is with regard to the quality of our students. So this is what is our focus. So let us start. As we all know, NEP has been introduced by the government and by the university, and we have started with it. This is second batch. I want to just bring some link between NEP and NAAC. We are having principles of NEP. We all have gone through the draft of NEP, and we also have gone through the NAAC manual. We have submitted the SSR. So here key principles of NEP and NAAC parameters. One of the principle of NEP is respect of diversity and local content. This particular thing is handled in criteria 1 in terms of curriculum design and development, and here we are having the freedom to have our own add-on courses and certificate courses, so that we can match. It may be geographical diversity, it can be student diversity, it can be teachers diversity, it can be with regard to local content, how to provide it to the students. So this is one of the principle. One more principle is use of technology. This we have seen it in criterion 2, information communication tools used by the teachers. Unique capabilities, very important point. How we are going to find out which student is different for other student. This also we have seen in criterion 2, slow learners and advanced learners, and what activities we are doing for slow learners and advanced learners. Emphasizing conceptual understanding. The entire presentation is based on this particular point. So how will you know whether the students have understood the concepts, whether the clarity is there or no? So this comes under criterion 2, program outcomes and course outcomes. So this is my topic of discussion in today's session. Critical thinking and creativity. Someone has kept his mic on. Please, I request them to mute it. Critical thinking and creativity, we see it in innovation ecosystem. So now earlier it was not there in the someone please tell them to mute it. Okay, thank you. Criterion 3, innovation ecosystem. It is with regard to critical thinking and creativity. Now it is a must for all the colleges irrespective of UG and PG. Innovation ecosystem, what platform we are providing to the students for critical thinking. For example, if you are having optional English students, what platform we are giving them for them to bring out the poet in them, to bring out the essayist in them, to bring out the novelist in them. That is what, if you are having economic students, what platform we are giving them to solve the local problems, management students, commerce students. So this is what we need to give them, a particular platform. That is what innovation ecosystem. One more principle, community participation, which is dealt in extension activities, equity and inclusion, which is dealt in criterion 7. This is not the complete principles, it's a whole lot of list, but what I wanted to say is I wanted to relate NEP with NAAC, because we all a point has come where we are dealing NAAC in isolation, but what has happened, NAAC is an integral part of NEP, or you can say NEP gives shape to NAAC. So this is what it is. There are many more other principles, but I'll stop it over here because this is not an NEP session. Next thing, we all have gone through it continuously, we have seen it in months together, and this is the key indicator in criterion 2, 2.6, student performance and learning outcome. You can see total weightage is 90. So in 350 weightage, that is in criterion 2, 90 is only for the key indicator 2.6. And here for this particular metric, program outcomes and course outcomes, the weightage is 45. As I told you all, it's on a 5-point scale that we are getting the attainment 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So most of the colleges are coming up till 2 and they are saturating in scoring. Very few colleges could get 3 weightage. So if it is 2, it means we are able to achieve 22.5% of this grade. Why so? What is happening over here? Why we are not moving further than this? Because in our draft, in QLM matrix, in our draft, we are unable to properly explain about attainment. We have failed ourselves in attainment. If the peer team chairman is someone who is coming from education background, or who is coming from commerce background, management background, and if they are aware about Washington Accord, if they are aware about all those things, then definitely we are going to stay here or lower than this. I am very disheartened to see that few colleges have scored 0 in 2.6, and because of that they could have scored B grade, B plus grade, but they stood at B, and few colleges at C. This is the problem. So I wanted to deal this particular issue. My intention was to deal with this issue so that in our SSR, when we are writing the QLM of this particular metric, we need to use certain terminology, we need to do certain things at our level to score out of out. But then this becomes a very narrow approach. I thought, let us not focus only on NAAC, and let us not consider NAAC thing as the bottom line for this particular session. So beyond that, at a more broader level, I wanted our students to get the benefit, and that is the reason outcome based education is our today's session. Now coming to the first part, very important part, graduate attributes. National Board of Accreditation has its own attributes or characteristics that an engineering student, when he completes his 4 years of engineering degree, there should be certain qualities that should be visible in him. In the same way, UGC has also provided us with graduate attributes for general institutions. What are these graduate attributes? So we are having graduate attributes, and what it means is graduate attributes forms a set of individually accessible outcomes that are the component indicative of graduates' potential to acquire competence to practice at the appropriate level. So what the students come, when the students come to the college, what they study and whether they are able to demonstrate that knowledge, whether their students are able to use that knowledge, whether the students are able to apply their knowledge in their workplace, in their home, in society, that is what is attributes. That is what is attributes. So here the graduate attributes are exemplars of the attributes expected of graduate from an accredited program. This is what is. If I say I have attended 3 years BA in music, and after the 3 years if I don't know what is scale, what is music, and I don't know what is rag, then I have failed. So this is what is. So particular program needs particular attributes, and that is what is graduate attributes. So here when you speak about graduate attributes, it reflects about quality. What type of quality? Certain characteristics which should be, which I can write in shortcut as KSAs. What are KSAs? Knowledge, skill, and attitudes of the students. So here the student should be able to gain the knowledge, skill, and have an attitude towards that. So this is what we as college or we as university need to provide to the students. But the problem is we are focusing our entire energy, and I'm just generalizing it, not only we, in general we are just focusing our energy on knowledge aspect. Skill aspect and attitude aspect is far from us, and skill aspect has been brought importance in NEP, but again the thing is how, what. So this particular session has 3 main points that I would like to tell. One is the philosophy. I am trying to discuss the philosophy with all of you all. You all are learned people, but one philosophy of OBE. Then the next important point of this session is practicality. After sir ನೀವು ಏನು ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಏನೇನು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಆದರೆ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಲೆವೆಲಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದೇನು? Is it practical with our students? Practicality. And the third one is actuality. Sir ಬಂದು ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಸರ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಏನೇನು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾಳಿನ implement ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. It's a long run running. It is just a foundation for us to understand, because in the coming days this is going to be the norm. NAAC attributes outcomes are going to be the norm. So I am dealing today with the philosophy and giving certain technical information to you all, so that with your limited constraints, with whatever is happening actually on the ground, how you can inculcate this particular philosophy. That is my intention. So some of the characteristic attributes that a graduate should demonstrate are as follows. So here I have listed down disciplinary knowledge. This I have taken it from UGC manual. Communication skills, critical thinking, problem solving, analytical reasoning, research related skills, reflective thinking, information or digital literacy, self-directed learning, multicultural competence, moral and ethical awareness, leadership, lifelong learning, teamwork, and scientific reasoning. So if you count this thing, there are around 14 graduate attributes that UGC has told us. So if a student enrolls in a program, okay, these are the attributes that should be demonstrated by the student. 15 attributes. Now the question is, what are these 15 attributes? Commonly, generally, we need not take all the 15 attributes. We can select few attributes among these attributes which we can relate it to our program, and that is enough for us. It can be 10, it can be 11, it can be 12, or it can be 8 or 9. It all depends upon what type of program we are offering to the students. So with this background, now we'll move. We have understood the first part, as I said, we understood what is graduate attributes. Graduate attributes have come from where? It has come from UGC. What is UGC? UGC, as you know, UGC and NAAC, okay, they provide a mandate as to how we should work. UGC is providing us the mandate and NAAC is assessing the mandate, and UGC has said these are the graduate attributes that we need to have. So these are the 15 points. Now comes the next. This I will bring it in different umbrellas. So the first umbrella that I want to bring is disciplinary knowledge. I will tell it as knowledge component. Then skills, all these things are skills. So I'll bring this particular points under skills component. And lastly, this particular right side, the gray box, I'll bring it under attitude component. So you can see graduate attributes, I have converted them into knowledge, skills and attitude. Now we'll see further how to shape it. So this 15 graduate attributes, as you can see, I have brought it into different domains: knowledge, skills and attitude. So behind this we are having graduate attributes. Now what is knowledge, what is skills, what is attitude? So here comes Bloom's taxonomy. If any of my friends, if any of my colleagues, senior teachers have done B.Ed or are aware about this thing, they will relate it to this. So knowledge component in Bloom's taxonomy, the technical word is cognitive domain, psychomotor domain and affective domain. So cognitive domain matlab this is related to, I'll use the word 3H over here. 3H. Cognitive domain, head, psychomotor domain, hand, and affective domain is heart. Whenever I used to ask my mother, my heart is very bad, sorry. Whenever I used to ask my mother, Madam, Mom, how come you prepare so nice food? She used to say that I make use of 3H, head, hand and heart. So here, head is cognitive domain, knowledge component, psychomotor, and heart is affective domain. So knowledge, I can relate it to cognitive, skills to psychomotor and attitude to affective domain. What knowledge does? It involves thinking, and we think with our brain. Psychomotor domain, what it does? It involves action, and all the action is done by our hands, eyes, mouth, legs, entire body is functioning and working on the action component. And lastly, affective domain, it is how you feel about it, feeling component. This is what is missing in our most of our teaching learning methodology, that is the affective domain. So with this, friends, you can see we are moving behind all these things. We are having graduate attributes. So we have understood Bloom's taxonomy. Now with this we'll move ahead. Now this has become our second stone to understand, second step to understand. So what are the different learning domains? Cognitive, affective and psychomotor. So these three domains are further subdivided. There are different divisions, and it starts from remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating and creating. So all these things are with regard to our knowledge component. And similarly, we are having imitation, manipulation, precision, articulation, naturalization. Here it is receiving, responding, valuing, organizing and characterizing. So whenever I say what is this remember component, who is the father of economics? That is remembering component. Okay. What do you understand by law of demand? Understanding component. Okay, application part. So these things you can see they are moving from lower level to higher level. With regard to psychomotor domain, I will give you an example of swimming. If you want to teach a student swimming, in the class we'll make them sit, we'll tell them what is swimming, we'll make them understand what is the water pressure, what is the body pressure, we'll tell them how they need to apply the science while swimming. The student will be able to analyze it, the student will be evaluating it, and he will create. So he will analyze what is backstroke, what is front stroke, what is all those things. Then he will create his own style of swimming. This is knowledge component. When actually he enters into the water, he will see his coach and he will try to imitate it, and somehow by using tube he will try to learn swimming, and then he will become perfect in that, so that he will know what amount of time he can stay underwater, and then he will be perfect, he will be well articulated. Then naturalization means the swimmer and the person are not two different things, they are same. As it is, you and teacher are not different, both is the same. That is what is naturalization. Same is with regard to affective domain, how you receive the information, how you respond it, and what character you have developed out of that information. So friends, all these things are happening at a time. ऐसे नहीं है कि cognitive domain is working first then this. When we provide an information to the students, what is society? Behind this thing, what is society? He is receiving the information and is forming his own attitude towards that information. This is what is Bloom's taxonomy. But why this is important? Because when we are speaking about outcomes, we need to know this particular learning domains. Now I'll give up affective domain and psychomotor domain in front of the slide. Somewhere back of the mind it will be working. Just on the surface I will bring cognitive domain, and as I said, we move from lower level to higher level. So remembering is lower level and creating is higher level. So as per this Bloom's taxonomy, there is knowledge component. So knowledge we are providing in first semester and second semester. Then skills, we are trying to provide the skills in third semester and fourth semester. You can see in these first two boxes there is no dark color over here. Okay, the chocolate color is not there, but little shades of chocolate color is there over here. So we are equaling knowledge as well as the skills, and at the end you can see there is less amount of knowledge because they already know everything. We are developing their skills and attitude towards that. That is happening in fifth and sixth semester. For PG level, everything will be dark because everything will be application and development, application and development. That is the reason they are having project works. That is the reason they are having case studies. That is the reason they are involved with the community. So this is how our syllabus should move. This is how our teaching should move. Even in sixth semester, we should not ask the student what is that XYZ concept, because already we have dealt it in this particular semesters. So here, to understand that, very important thing is action verbs. Okay, we need to have certain kriya for that. So when we have to frame the questions on remembering, and this is a request for all the question paper setters in the different universities. If you make use of this particular idea, then outcome based education and mapping of attainments becomes very easy. So here, first, while remembering, we are asking them define economics, define sociology, define psychology. We are telling them list all the wars that have taken place during Mughal era. We are telling match the following. We are telling name this particular species. We are telling order in sequence. Okay, arrange the things. So this is all elementary. This is with regard to remembering level. Understanding level, we are telling them to explain it. We are telling them to identify it. We are telling them to summarize it, classify the things. In application, little things, here the things become little complicated for the students, so they need to apply their knowledge. It may be using the formula to calculate, it may be demonstrating something in the form of practicals, it may be with regard to interpreting the things that is being shown, or to show or showcase, or to be able to solve certain issues and problems. And then much at the next level, at the next higher level, the student should be able to analyze, appraise, compare. If you ask the student which party is good, Democrats or Republicans, they should be able to compare. This is the work of the political science teacher. If you ask me Keats is romantic poet or Donne is romantic poet, if you compare and contrast, the student should know not only the poems, they should be able to analyze it, and they should be able to distinguish it. They should be able to explore and investigate. So this is what is analysis level. Evaluation, the student should be in a position to say whether it is right or wrong, whether it is good or bad. And here you can see most of our advanced learners, you send them for debate competition. So what they do in debate, they go, they argue, they defend themselves, they try to find the critic with regard to others' judgment, they judge others, they try to justify their point. This particular thing requires a higher level of maturity, and here you can see all these things are happening at not only at knowledge level, it is also a skill. And here you can see the affection, the how your heart is behaving, how your maturity is showcased over here. And last comes doing something new. It is to create. you are constructing a new chart, you're constructing a new flow, you're creating a new design, you are having a complete new plan. So this is what most of the PhDs do. They create something new by hypothesizing the things. So this is what the movement from lower level to higher level. So this particular action verbs becomes our base for drafting the course outcomes, because course outcomes should be measurable. That is what is very important. Now coming to the part program outcomes. So we understood graduate outcomes. Now our role is of understanding program outcomes. So in program outcomes, what we come again, we are having these particular words: knowledge, skills and abilities. Students should be able to possess when they graduate from the program. So they are answers to the question, what should program graduates know and be able to do. This is very important at the time of program completion. So here you can see there are certain guidelines for program. The program outcome must flow directly from and support the college department mission. So if you remember criteria 6, I had taken a session, vision and mission. Program outcome must be directly related to academic discipline. If you are studying BA students, you cannot have a program outcome that our students will be well versed with computer applications and development of software. That will not be relevant. Program outcomes should be observable and measurable. So when I use the word measurable, nothing subjective comes into the picture, everything is quantitative. A program outcome must be focused on learning outcomes. So you should relate the program outcomes with what the students are learning, and a program outcome must communicate a single outcome, not multiple outcome. Then if it is multiple, the clarity will be lost. So now see, we are moving from graduate attributes and now we are coming towards program outcomes. So this is the list of our graduate attributes. Now we'll have our program outcomes. This is just for your information, not to confuse you. Program outcomes are given by UGC. It is there in the NAAC manual. But I'm just telling you this particular information as to what program outcomes are. If it's a new college, if you're going to have your own autonomous thing, then you can have your own program outcomes. So here I'll select certain program outcomes, graduate attributes, and call it as my program outcomes. So I'll say disciplinary knowledge. Okay, I'll take it. Communication skills. Okay, I'll take it. Problem solving. Yes, fine, I'll take it. Digital literacy, I'll take it. Self-directed learning, I'll take it. Moral and ethical awareness, I'll take it. So what I have done is, for my program, depending upon what courses I'm offering, I said these are relevant to me. These are relevant to me. So I'm going to take this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 program outcomes I'm going to take. So these are my 6 outcomes. Now in this, other teachers may feel, a critical thinking, philosophy teacher may say reflective thinking, then this type of thing. So we'll have certain other program specific outcomes. So here literature staff, they can say critical thinking is required. We are having a full paper on critic. Then social sciences will say research related skills is required. For PhD we need to do research psychology. Management people will say cooperation, teamwork, हम तो सब मिल के काम करते हैं. Philosophy, if there is a subject, logic is a subject, they say reflective thinking is also expected. So this type of things you can bring in on. So all these program outcomes plus program specific outcomes for our level are program outcomes of that particular program. So let us not confuse ourselves that PO is different from PSO. In engineering, what happens? Civil engineering requirements are different, C&S requirements are different. So based on that program, they are having NBA provided program outcomes, and according to their program, they are having their program specific outcomes. So this is what is the difference. For our general education, this is enough for us. So this is already provided to us by UGC. What are the program outcomes? We'll go to the next. So normally there is no difference between POs and PSOs. So this is for our level, that is for general education, this is program outcomes and program specific outcomes. All this work is done by the UGC for us. Now you can see graduate attributes are there. From this, engineering colleges select their attributes and they make it their program outcomes. We general institutions, UGC has decided. For engineering, NB has decided what are the program outcomes. Similarly, for MBE also they are having their own program outcomes. The numbers may differ depending upon their requirement. Now coming to the third part. So you can see the progress what we have done. We understood what is graduate attributes. From graduate attributes we have built up program attributes. Now from program attributes we need to link course outcomes, program outcomes and course outcomes. Course outcomes are measurable statements. Concretely, formally, they tell what the students are expected to learn in a course. Course outcomes should be observable and measurable. This is very important, measurable. And that we are able to evaluate whether they have achieved the outcomes or no. This is what is evaluation. Matlab we are speaking about attainment of the outcomes. So course outcome is a statement of something which is, I can say, SMART. What is SMART? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant and time bound. So 3 years graduation, if the student takes 6 years and becomes outstanding, time bound is not there. Okay, if you are teaching to the students COBOL and all those things, it is not relevant in computer science. So this should be specific, it should be measurable, it should be achievable. We cannot tell that an engineering student in SDM college will be able to build up a rocket. That is not achievable. So these are very important when we are speaking about course outcomes. Now we have come to the 20th slide. Now the things will become little technical for another 10 slides, and after that it becomes little complicated. So now we'll see correlation levels of COs and POs, and we'll give them the weightages. So here if there is low correlation between program outcome and course outcome, we are giving the weightage as 1. If there is moderate correlation, it is 2. If there is high correlation, it is 3. Now you may ask me, what is this? So this thing I'm going to do, the mapping of program outcomes and course outcomes, I'm going to do it in the next slide. So right now for us to understand is, one is the correlation between PO and CO is less, it is moderate, and it is very high. And if there is no correlation, we are using a dash, a hyphen over there. Now see, course objectives and outcomes. So in my days when I was studying, I used to see the syllabus. At the beginning of the syllabus, there used to be objectives, the word. But now today you can see the word has been replaced from objectives to outcomes. What is the difference between objectives and outcomes? Course objectives generally describe what an instructor, you as a teacher, what you aim to do. You want to familiarize the students with microeconomics. That is your role. That is objective. Example, to familiarize the students with the basic concept of microeconomics, to make students understand the demand and supply analysis, to familiarize students with production. This is what you wanted to do. But today the nomenclature has changed. We have shifted from objectives to outcome, learning outcome. So what is learning outcome? A statement describes an observable, measurable, what the learner is able to do. So this is what is our focus. The moment we say able to do, here we have to make use of verb, and not just verb, it should be an action verb to measure it, whether they are able to do. Here when you are aiming it, everything is abstract. But when the students needs to reproduce it, recreate it and show it and demonstrate it, it doesn't become abstract, it becomes very concrete and measurable. So for my simplicity, I have taken certain examples of course outcomes of economics. The same you can do it for political science, sociology, history, psychology, optional English and all those things. So let us say define marginal analysis, identify sunk cost, explain what economics is and explain why is it important, differentiate, use, describe, demonstrate, analyze, apply, connect, ability to design microeconomic models. So you can see all the words that are there in red, they are all our action verbs. So your outcome should be there. Now the question is, you may be feeling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sir, 11 outcomes. Normally we have seen only 5 outcomes. So here, just for your information, this knowledge, skills and affective part that we have seen, based on what you want to achieve of the outcome, we can have certain blocks. So we can have permutations and combinations of these things. So knowledge and skills of one particular outcome, skills and attitude of one particular outcome. So this way skills, knowledge and attitude. So this way how many blocks you are creating, that many number of outcomes should be there. But right now, most of the videos that I have seen, they say minimum 5, but certain videos where I have gone through the entire workshop of 5-6 days, I have seen that they say that this blocks of KSA determines what will be the number of outcomes. It can be 10, it can be 5, it can be 3, it depends. So I have taken here around 8 outcomes. So now the top-down approach, this is important. Vision and mission. Your college is having, normally our government college is having the vision. We want to provide quality education to the rural students and make them a good citizen of the country. This is what is most of the visions. Now to achieve this, to provide quality education to rural students and making them respected citizens of the country, we are having mission. So GFGC Dharwad can say we are providing education in such a way that our students should click competitive examinations. Other colleges are there, they'll say we want our students to go for police and military. There may be few BBA colleges, they say that we want our students to be entrepreneurs. So this is what is your mission. So this becomes your mission statements, or in other words, this becomes your program educational objectives. So these are your program educational objectives. So from mission, vision and mission, we are coming to PEOs, and from this we are moving to program outcomes, and we are having our program specific outcomes, and both together becomes POs of that particular program. Then we are having our course outcomes: English, economics, political science, sociology, history, geography, physics, chemistry, maths, biology, commerce, management, social work, etc., etc. And from here you can see now the things. So once course outcomes are there, then our teaching learning process starts, and after teaching learning process you will evaluate what is taught, and then you will give the results. This is the normal approach. So there is a huge distance between teaching learning process to evaluation, and this is the journey that the student has to go through. So we need to communicate to the student what are the outcomes they should have after the completion of 3 years. If they study this particular paper, what is expected from them, and this is what is evaluated from your side. This is what is called as the program outcomes and course outcomes are well stated. If the results are not fine, you improvise your teaching learning process. So one more thing that I want to tell here is, when we are drafting the course outcomes, there are 3 important things. One is performance component IRBEC. The second one is condition component IRBEC, and third one is criteria component IRBEC. Andre ಏನು, I'll just give one simple example to make it clear. Performance andre the student should be able to do. Condition andre 1 or 2 condition. Criteria andre under what criteria. I'll give an example. Students of economics, one example ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ course outcome. The students of economics will be able to solve linear equations using simultaneous equation method of 3 linear equations. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ performance component ಅಂತ ಏನಿದೆ, they are speaking about solving. Condition ಏನಿದೆ, simultaneous equation method ಇಂದ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಕ್ರೈಟೀರಿಯಾ ಏನಿದೆ, three linear equations bagede. So they are speaking not normally num students 2x plus 3y is equal to 15, 4x plus 6y is equal to 20. So this is equation 1, this is equation 2. This thing already PUC level alli bartide. So what is this outcome telling? Mattondhu equation barbek avaru idu solve madak barbek. So using simultaneous equation model of three equation. Performance component is solve, condition component is we are speaking about simultaneous simultaneous equations, and criteria is three linear equations. So ee riti nam prati one course outcomes nalli moor irbek. If not criteria, at least two things should be there. In perform arbek, under what condition they need to perform. The students will be able to find out the price, the students will be able to calculate price performance, calculate prices performance of monopoly and oligopoly market. This is the condition. So this is what is performance component and condition component and criteria component. Going ahead. So here I am having my 8. So here course outcome is economics. It can be course code also. So I can say ECO01. This is the course code. I am having my course outcomes of microeconomics. So similarly, you can have your outcomes for political science, you can have your outcome for sociology, you can have your outcome for English, XYZ subjects. This is mine. Now what I'm doing is I'm trying to see this course outcome with this program outcomes, where does it map? So here there are few things which are directly related to my subject and few things that are not directly but indirectly related to my subject. So directly related becomes domain specific, and which are not directly, that becomes domain independent program outcomes, and both together are program outcomes. So here disciplinary knowledge, communication skills, critical thinking, problem solving, analytical reasoning, and digital literacy. I have taken 6 samples. It can be anything else, but for my presentation, to make the communication more easy and understandable, I have taken this. So define marginal analysis, I am limiting it to disciplinary knowledge. And once they have understood what is marginal analysis, it can help them in the future for other studies. Identify sunk cost, disciplinary knowledge. Explain what economics is and explain why it is important. So once only you need to know the subject, then you should be able to communicate it properly. It may be orally or written communication, because you are explaining, and explain why it is important. When you say why, you need to critically think about it. So this, you can also bring analytical reasoning also into this thing as mapping. Differentiate, again these things, use of mathematics, disciplinary knowledge. मैथमेटिक्स के लिए कम्युनिकेशन ज़्यादा ज़रूरी नहीं है, इट इज़ नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. Critical thinking, problem solving, and analytical reasoning. If you want to use this mathematics by using certain tools, softwares, then we can bring even PO6 as mapping with this particular thing. So it is purely your discretion. And then connect globalization. So you can see I'm connecting everything, because they are telling you need to have what is globalization, international trade, international finance, all these things I'm bringing. Ability to design. So here all these things I'm trying to map. So this is what I'm doing is every course outcome I'm trying to map it with which program outcome it can be specific, it can be related, it can be co-related. Now the next thing is whether it is highly correlated or whether it is very correlation is very less. That is what is our next slide. The same blue circles will go, and I am giving them the levels. So this is our PO CO matrix. In the next slide, you can see I have given the weightages. Margin analysis, I have given high correlation, high. So here you can see connect globalization, international trade. I have not given that much high, it is low correlation. Here I have given high. So here you can see program outcome, the total weightage is 20, and there are 8 outcomes. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have taken all outcomes, so it is 8. If you add it up, it is 20. Here how many outcomes I have taken? I have mapped it 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 4. When you add it up, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the average of that, 20 divided by 8 is 2.5, 8 divided by 4 is 2, 16 divided by 6 is 2.6. So what I have done is, first thing, I have seen whether this particular outcome can be mapped with this. If it can be mapped, what should be the correlation level, high correlation or low correlation. So this is what I have done. Once this particular work is done, I hope till here everything is fine and comfortable to all of you, because after this the things are going to become more technical.
Yes sir, yes sir, okay sir.
If anyone has any doubts, you can ask now only, because afterwards I cannot come back to 26 slide. Okay, so good, the going is good. I don't know whether I'm telling it nicely or you all are too nice. Okay, next is, now you can see I have done my work for economics. Now this economics course outcomes, I have done all this work, I have done all this homework. Now I need to bring this into the picture and bring it here. So you can see first semester NEP, all of you all just correct me if I'm wrong. Basic English is ability enhancement course, basic Kannada is ability enhancement course, basic economics is disciplinary specific, contemporary Indian economics is discipline specific, basic concepts in political science disciplinary, political theory disciplinary. So here the two subjects that in this example I have taken is the students have opted for economics and political science. Along with this, we are having environmental studies as a skill enhancement course and human rights as OEC. I am limiting myself to basic because I have drafted the course outcomes of basic economics, and this 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 1, from where it has come? So this 2.5 I have rounded it to 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1 and 2. So this 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2. 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 112, 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 112. So this is what my work is done for economics. So this you can see for discipline knowledge, I have highly correlated it. For digital literacy, I am having low correlation. For environment, I am having low correlation. Teamwork, I am having low. Lifelong learning, I am having moderate correlation. So this is how I have done. This thing, you have to do it for your subjects. For English, faculty has to do it for English. Political science faculty has to do it for political science, and similarly sociology faculty has to do it for sociology. So this is our first step. So high correlation, moderate correlation and low correlation. So this is our program level course PO matrix. So program, and we are having PO and we are having COs. Now comes assessment and evaluation. So this is just for your reference, because in the next slides, in the last slide, I'm going to make use of this. So you have come to know 3 has come from 2.5, 2 has come from 2. This is all rounded up figures. So this is what we are going to make use of when we are computing CO and PO attainment. Now coming to the next important part, here is what our work starts apart from teaching learning. So we are trying to see what is the assessment. So when you teach something to the students and the students have learned something, we need to assess whether they have learnt it or not. That is what is called as criteria based assessment. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಏನು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಪ್ರಕಾರದ ಟೂಲ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ, ಉಪಕರಣಗಳು ಇದೆ. ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾವು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಸೆಮಿನಾರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಥರ್ಡ್ ಅಸೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ತಗೋಬಹುದು, ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು, ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಇದೆ, ಲ್ಯಾಬೋರೇಟರಿ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಟರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಟೂಲ್ಸ್ that we are trying to gauge whether the students have attained the outcome or no. This is very important for us, because if you speak about class test, communication skills ನೀವು ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು, ಓರಲ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್ ನೀವು ಸೆಮಿನಾರ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು, ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಲಿಟ್ರಸಿ ನೀವು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು, ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ನ್ಯೂ, ಅನಲೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈಯಿಂಗ್ ದ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ನೀವು ಅಸೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು, ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಟೀಮ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಕೋಆರ್ಡಿನೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ಲ್ಯಾಬೋರೇಟರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. Okay, all these things are the different ways through which we are trying to assess our one or the other outcome, one or the other PO or CO, because everything is mapped and connected. Now our role is ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾವೆ ಅವು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಔಟ್ಕಮ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದು ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಔಟ್ಕಮ್ ನಾವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಔಟ್ಕಮ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇದೆ, ಈ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಔಟ್ಕಮ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಜುಯೇಟ್ ಅಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇದೆ. ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಇಟ್. ಸೊ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಡನ್, you need to do periodic assessment. So first class test the new. Let us say you are having 10 students, and you will badi sir may say, Aftab sir, we are having 1000 students or 500 students. So I'll tell them, for such college where the student strength is more, take top 10 students, bottom 10 students, and make it 20 students for a sample, and then you try to do this. See to it that these students, whether in the class test you wanted to find out their subject knowledge, or you wanted to find out the analytical skill, what you wanted to find out, based on that you will be having the question. And seminars, whether they have achieved that or not, normally our JD sir says assignment aad code battery yaad books nalli ide, give them something that they should create something own, aa riti aur odtar, aa riti aur baritar. This you will show critical thinking, analytical reasoning, creating something new. So once this thing is there, these 10 students are there, you can say student 1 has achieved all the outcomes, student 2 is weak in communication skills, student 3 is lacking in presentation skills. So ee riti ನೀವು ನೋಡಬಹುದು. So here comes next thing. Once you are doing the periodic assessment, when you identify what the students are facing, then you need to provide remedial lessons. Ee remedial lessons ಎದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಧಾರಿತ ಇದೆ? It is based on course outcomes are achieved or not. It is not call all the students who have failed and give them the common lecture. It should be customized based on students' ability. So once periodic assessment is done, remedial lessons are done, then again we start with the same thing. We again go on for assessment. So this thing is called as formative assessment. And after that, we go on for calculating whether the outcomes are attained or no. And once the things are clear to us, then we assign the grades. Now the question is, after assigning the grades, you will come to know what is the summative assessment. At the end of the year, what the students have achieved or attained. So formative assessment will help us for summative assessments. And here, once summative assessments are done, grades are given, you need to ask the students, okay, Baba, why you have failed, or why you have scored such a good marks, or what is the reason for you not trying to achieve outcome 1, or how is it possible that you have achieved outcome 5 so nicely. So here comes our feedback. We need to take the feedback. So this feedback, when you take it from the student, again there we are having attainment levels 1, 2, 3. Then when you take the feedback and you map it with the outcomes, this becomes our indirect method of measuring the attainment level. So this is all our internal marks. So you can see internal and external exams, when we take both these things together, becomes our direct attainment level, and indirect attainment is take the feedback. So once this is done, and once you have seen that the grades are not achieved, if outcomes are not attained, what we should do? Can anyone tell me? You can unmute yourself because it is becoming more one-sided. Little interaction from your side, so that if anyone is drowsy, they can awake. If anyone has ideas, they can share. My question is, if outcomes are not attained, then what? If 1 or the 2 or 3 outcomes are not attained, then what?
Then we have to change our teaching methodology, sir.
Very good, sir. So first I'll take it, teaching methodology. Good. If I say Aki sir is a wonderful teacher and he's teaching perfectly, there's no problem in teaching methodology, then what, sir?
Then we have to understand what is the student's environment on that particular day, why they are not in a position to understand.
Here you have done all those things in remedial lessons about students understanding and all those things. Very good, sir. Very good contribution. So I'll come to the point. First one is, as you said, sir, we will evaluate the effectiveness of teaching process. And here when you're evaluating, you see your teaching methodology. If all the students in your class are visual learners and you are providing them oral lessons, there is a disconnect. You need to bring a change in your methodology. If most of the students in your class are English medium and you're teaching them in Kannada, or the vice versa, most of the students in your class are from Kannada medium and you're teaching them in hi-fi English, this becomes a problem in attainment of the outcomes. So we need to change our teaching methodology, as you said, sir. Perfect. Okay, so this is one thing. Or else, if it can be anything else, it can be the pronunciation of the teachers, or else it can be the accent of the teachers, or else it can be notes only given, no something, some parameters will be there that has caused the teachers or the students to not attain the outcome. And second, everything is fine, then there is some problem with your course outcome. In my economics course outcome, there was course outcome number 7, where I had given it as the students will be able to connect globalization with international trade and international finance. Okay, remember this word. Students will be able to connect globalization with international trade and international finance. So this international trade, international finance and globalization, all these things comes under international economics, and I have brought it under microeconomics. And because of that, the students may not achieve that outcome because it is not related in any way. So this thing, then I need to change it, I need to reframe it, or need to completely remove it out. So this is what we need to do. So this is first part of assessment. Now we will do how actually assessment is done. So remember, all my dear colleagues, course outcomes decide the frequency of test or other assessment tools. As per our university, as per our syllabus, we say that in under NEP 40 internals, 60 externals. Earlier it was 20 internals, 80 externals. For BBA students it was 25 internals, 75 externals. So this 25, 20, 40, this is your liberty. We need to follow what the university says, no doubt, but with regard to mapping the outcomes, it is your liberty to test, because different outcomes can be tested in different way. You may require 3 class tests to identify disciplinary knowledge, to identify communication skills, to identify non-domain areas. So you can conduct 3. So they say course outcomes decide the frequency of test, or you may give 3 assignments, 3 seminars, which is beyond what university says. But as I said, university thing, we are doing it for the university, but for students we need to do this thing. So this is how we need to take care of our assessment. Now course assessment methodology and tools. So we are having direct assessment, assignments, seminars, internal examinations, and we are having end semester examinations. So friends, all these things, why I have made it end semester, because this is not in our control. This can be brought under our control if the people, if the faculty who are there as question paper setters, they can create miracles in this thing, in streamlining this thing. So if they set their question papers as per outcomes, then this becomes very easy for us. And then practical examination for science courses, project work for management courses and MCOM. And then there is indirect assessment, and that is feedback. So right now we'll not focus on indirect assessment, because we can give a weightage of 90% to direct assessment and only 10% to indirect assessment. This is the reason in criteria when they ask feedback collected from all the stakeholders and action taken report. So once you collect the feedback, where you map it, your feedback with program outcomes, give them the different levels 3, 2, 1, and at the end what number you get, that is telling. So here, yes, this is the reason. So in your syllabus there is a problem with communication skills subject matter, so the students are unable to take it. This type of feedback needs to be given to the university. Now when we speak about attainment, we want to know how many students have attained. So course outcome 1, I'm just giving you an example. If there are 100 students, how many students out of these 100 students were able to attain this course outcome? Let us say 60% students have attained this course outcome. Similarly, course outcome 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we'll come to know what is happening with economics as a course with regard to attainment. So our main goal is trying to find out the number of students who have attained it. So here I'll bring the attainment levels into the picture. So let us say I have taken 25 marks as the benchmark. Let us say internal examinations are 25 marks. So my benchmark, sir, from where you have brought the 60%, it is discretionary. Okay, as per my wish, I have brought it, seeing the quality of my students. So you can say our quality of students is very high, you can make it 80%. You can say, no sir, our students are coming from very bad educational background, so you can say 50%. So this is your we are just trying to see how the mapping is done. So whether deciding 80, 50 or 60, that is left to you based on the student background. So 60% of 25 is 15. So I am telling that my benchmark is 15. 15 what? So I will say attainment level if 80% of the students score 60% of the marks, then I will say the attainment level is 3. So as I said, out of 100 students, 80 students have scored more than 15 marks, then it is 3. Or 70% of students have scored, you can say 70 students have scored more than 15 marks, then attainment level is 2. And lastly, 60% of the students have scored 15 marks, attainment level is 1. So this is for direct assessment. Here you can see attainment level kept, the benchmark kept is very high because all these things you are closely monitoring. Similarly, for final exams, maximum marks is 75 and our passing marks is, let us say, 30 or 28, whatever it is. So attainment level, 60% of the students have scored this particular marks, 3. 50% 2 attainment level, or 40% have scored, it is 1 attainment level. So this attainment level is telling us about how many students are able to achieve this particular outcome. So if many students have achieved, then attainment level is high. If very few students have achieved, attainment level is low. Now we'll enter into the question paper setting. So how the assessment and COs mapping is done? You can see here I'm making use of assessment methods. Assignment, this is again for simplicity, I have made it common 5 answers to take a round number, because normally we give assignment 2 assignments, one assignment for 2 marks, another assignment for 2 marks. This way we will be doing it. It is left to you all. So assignment question marks is 5. For seminar I'm giving 5 marks. In class test 1 I'm giving 2 questions for 5 marks. In class test 2 I'm giving 2 questions for 5 marks. And at the end of the examination we are having 50 marks, 60, 20, 30, 40, 60 marks. So this is how we have divided it, and here we are having 10, 20, 30. So another is there, I was just clubbed it. Now define margin analysis, where I'll ask this question, you have to decide. With regard to course outcome 1, I'll say I'll put it in class test 1. You may say I will try to find it out in class test 2. Or others may say no, we'll try to see it through assignment how they will define it. But when we are saying define knowledge level, it's better to give it in class test. Identify sunk cost, okay, in the second test I'll ask this. Now I highlighted this thing, course outcome 3, I have highlighted it. So what I'm doing, explain what economics is and explain why is it important. So I'm asking one question related to this, what is economics here. Then I'm asking, okay, what is its importance, it is here. Then I'm asking whether they can explain why it is important and all those things through seminar. I'm trying to see their communication skills, okay. And also the same question will be coming for final exams. So what has happened, 5, 5, 5, 5. So total 20 marks is been given to assess whether outcome 3 is been achieved or no. So this is one way. Similarly, what I'm doing is for other subjects also, for other outcomes also, I'm trying to give certain questions. Now what is our role? I'm just taking one example. This thing should be done. Now what I'll be doing in the next slides, next slides ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ಅದು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಔಟ್ಕಮ್ ಬರಬೇಕು ಆ ರೀತಿ. ಸೊ ನಾ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಯಾಂಪಲ್ ತಗೋತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, course outcome 3, and we'll try to see what is happening with the students. So you can decide the attainment level of the course outcomes, whatever it is. You can say 60% students achieve adre full attend, or 50% adre full attend. That is your liberty. Now we are coming into mathematics. So I am trying to see about course outcome 3, what is happening with assessment calculation. So for me, I have taken, let us say in my class there are 6 students, student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4. If your students are more in the class, you can take top 10 students and bottom 10 students, and you can have this particular list. So what I am doing is, as you see here, seminar, class test and final exams. So seminar, student 1 5, both the class test together 3, and some examination 5. So this student, let us say Ajay, this Ajay student, how much he has got out of this 20? He has got 13 marks. In terms of percentage, how much it is? 65 weightage. And what I have said, 70% and above if the student gets, it is full attainment. 60 to 70 if the student gets, it is moderate attainment. So here I have said 2. One student has scored 35, and whether he has passed the exams? Yes, he has passed. What is the weightage? 1. One student has scored only 25, and for me 25 is not you can say qualifying, so he has not attained, he has failed, and weightage I have given is 1. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ 6 ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ಒಂದು ಗ್ರಿಡ್ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಅದು ಗ್ರಿಡ್ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಏನು ನೋಡ್ತೇನೆ, 6 ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ 5 ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ okay, they have attended. So what is my attainment percentage? It is 83.33%. On an average, what is the status of my course outcome 3? 6 students may course outcome 3, what is the status? It is 12. 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So 12 divided by 6, it is 2. So what I have got is 83.33% of the students have attained with an average weightage of 2. This 2 is for course outcome. So you can see course outcome 3, after giving them the question paper and taking the average of all the 6 students, what I got is 2. This is the outcome that I have got. So this 2 I am going to put it in the next slide. Mapping. I'm going to do the mapping. So the process of CO PO mapping validation is very simple. Obtain course outcome, map the course outcome with PO, set the weightage for CO, measure it through assessment, obtain CO table, obtain PO table, and then you just go on inserting here. So what I said, course outcome 3, 83.33% students have achieved. Yes, so attained or not? It is attained, it is attained, it is attained, it is yes. Course outcome 7 is not attained. Why only 30%? Why is it so that only 30%? The reason is, as I told, 7 CO7 was the student will be able to connect globalization, international trade, international finance. Nowhere it is related to microeconomics, and that may be the reason that the students have failed. So my teaching learning is not a problem, it is the problem of my course outcome. So I will remove it from the picture from the next academic year or for the next batch of the students. So once I do this thing, even political science, they may be having their course outcome CO2, CO3 and CO4. They may have only 4. So even they will try to find out. So what will happen? So political science, economics, we are trying to get this thing, and this way all the subjects, if they do it not in isolation but collectively, then it becomes easy to find out the program level attainment. We have come to the end part of it. Once that is done, see course outcome 3, I am telling I have got the average as 2, and this is the earlier mapping that I had done. It is as it is. Now I need to see, okay, with regard to program outcome, as I got 2, in the same way after calculation we will be getting the attainment average levels for different outcomes. So these are the different so how did you get all these numbers? These are all imaginary numbers, because I have taken this as my example and I have shown you all how this 2 has come out of the 6 students. Now my work is to show about program outcome, how to map it and show the attainment with course outcome. So here, if I want to find out the attainment of PO1, what I need to do is, the formula is column 3 multiplied by column 4 and sum it. Column 3 and column 4, multiply it and sum it. That is 2.8 into 3 plus 2.4 into 3 plus 2 into 2 plus 2.6 into 1. So this is the simple way. I'll show it in the next slide. So here I have taken the same third column and fourth column. What I will do, 2.8 into 3 plus 2.4 into 1. So the same thing, you'll see it here. And when I go on solving it, what I'll get at the end is 23.5 divided by 13. And attainment of PO1 is 1.80. Now this 1.80, I'm going to paste it in the grade here. So PO1 disciplinary knowledge with regard to basic economics is 1.8. In the same way, we are going to calculate all the other POs wherever mapping is been done. Now this is not the end. Now we need to compare this thing with something, and that comparison will tell us about whether we have achieved the outcomes or we have not achieved the outcomes. And the last part is with regard to attainment of program outcomes, you need to put it here. So you remember this 2.5 to 2.6, this was the average weight. The starting May we had done it. Now this is on an average what the program outcome says and what the students have actually achieved. So as you saw, program outcome 1 when I calculated it was 1.8. So attainment is 1.8, weighted average is 2.5. So 1.8 is less than 2.5. Here it is perfect. So you can say it is not fully attained, and we need to see what corrective measures can be done with regard to this particular outcome, disciplinary knowledge. With regard to digital learning, you had 1 and they have scored only 0.3. So some technical training or technical workshops, is it required to give to the students? So this is what you need to think of for the next batches. Or else if your benchmarks are very high, you need to reduce the benchmarks. Instead of making 70% of the students, you can make it 50% of the students. And if one batch achieves this outcome completely, then you can raise your benchmark from 50 to 60%. So this is how we need to write it in the SSR with regard to how the attainment process is done, and we need to keep all these charts ready. Then only we can get 45 out of 45 in SSR, and all our colleges can easily cross the hurdle of 3.01 and score A grade, that is for NAAC. But more important, if we do like this, our students will be able to get a proper placement. What I say normally is, if a student studies economics, it is not that how well he will get a job by being a person who has studied economics, but it is even if he becomes a peon, how well he can apply the knowledge of economics. This is what is our outcome based education philosophy is. So with this, I stop my session. It's open for discussion. Thank you.